Welcome back to another episode of Twisted Metal Companion. I am Peter, and today, you guys, we have an interview. Since we are wrapping up our reviews for season one, I thought we'd try to get some interviews here in between. And from episode seven, you guys know him from his massive talent of smashing not pumpkins, watermelons, is uh, Freak Wilson, who plays Mr. Slam. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Peter. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I wasn't sure if I should introduce you as Mr. Slam since I used the watermelon joke. But yeah, Creek Wilson. That's a fantastic name. Um, I did see. We'll get into your story a little bit. But you have a very fascinating story. But born in Alabama, right, Jasper?
Correct. Correct.
And so what was a young Creek Wilson doing as a kid back in school? Were you into theater, music? I know that you dabbled in country, obviously.
Well, I was into music since probably when I was in the third grade. I picked up the guitar, started playing it, started writing songs, wanted to be a big country music singer and songwriter, just like Randy Travis or Garth Brooks, before anybody knew who they were. And things happened, and I was on the verge, just getting my foot in the door, and it got slammed on me with a bad accident, face taken off, 5 years, 13 operations.
Hmm.
And one thing led to another. Real life, met my ex wife, my daughter's mother, and, life set in. And later on, when I was 50 years old, look at me now. I'm Mr. Slam.
Sure are. So when did you I know that you did some theater. When did when did you decide to go in that direction? Did you do any of that
Well,
stuff in
I
school?
I did theater in college and did about I think it was three productions. And then later on in life, I did local theater in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where I lived for 30 years.
Okay, I spent a little bit of time in Hattiesburg. There's I believe, I'm blanking on the name. I was in the army, so there was a camp
Camp
something or
Shelby.
other. Camp
Camp
Shelby, that's the one.
Shelby.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. Oh, I have not heard that name in decades. But yes, I spent a little time there in Camp Shelby training up to go overseas, and the humidity. It's nothing like I've experienced because I'm from the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
Um, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Part of the country that I don't spend enough time in.
Well, Camp Shelby, I was in the tire business and I sold every tire on every military vehicle to Camp Shelby at one time.
No kidding. Wow.
No kidding.
It's- So now you mentioned doing some local theater. I did read that your daughter was an inspiration for you to kind of get back in the saddle, so to speak. What was before her seeing you perform, what made you decide to audition or go for these productions?
Actually, a very, very good friend of mine. She was the producer and the director for several of them. She was a DJ at the time, and she just talked me into auditioning, and then one thing led to another, and I think I did 5 or 6 productions while I was there in local theater. And then, you know, it was fun, but it's a lot different doing theater than being on camera.
Hmm. Oh, absolutely. Obviously, with with a live audience, there's very little room for error.
Correct.
Do you have a preference with a live performance where you get that kind of instant feedback and reaction from the audience, or behind the camera?
Well, when I started doing film, I actually decided to take acting lessons. Well, let me go back. I did a couple of background roles just to see what it was like on set. And then my very first mentor and acting coach. You probably don't know his name, but you have seen him on, he's got over 350 credits, Gary Grubbs, and he was from Hattiesburg and he went to California and moved back, but he's been in everything, commercials, sitcoms, movies. He's worked with all the big dogs out there, directors and actors. And he had to bring me down because, theater, you're throwing your hands out, throwing your voice out. And he had to bring me down to where, you're just in that camera.
Hmm.
And so I prefer film than theater. If you want to know the truth about theater, you gotta rehearse and practice for 2 or 3 months before the production ever happens, because you have so many lines and you gotta be just about perfect.
Hmm. So before you started doing that, what about the country music? I imagine you didn't really hang up the guitar. I imagine you kept on playing.
Well, I still play the guitar a little bit, not as much, but the country music up until I was 24 years old, the I had a chance to sign with RCA Records.
Hmm.
And for the third time that they came to Birmingham, Alabama to see me, they'd already seen me twice in Nashville. And they came to Birmingham, and that was on a Monday night. The Friday night before, I got in a barroom fight and took on 13 dudes. And I found out real quick three was my limit. But took on 13 dudes, and they busted beer bottles across my head and my face, cut my face off, and cut my nose off. So I had to have reconstructive surgery. So RCA Records wasn't willing to sign me on because of all the trauma I had to my face. They liked a good looking 24, 25-year-old guy at the time. Here I was with bandages and several years worth of reconstructive surgeries.
Did you ever try to get back into that, even 5, 10 years later?
Not really. Being married and then you have kids, real life sets in, then you get a job and paying the bills, and you can't follow the dream then.
No, I completely understand. Straight out of high school, went into the military. I actually took some acting classes, but my unit got activated, and post 9/11, very little room to chase the dream, as you said.
And may I say one thing to you, sir? Thank you for your service because you allow me to play for a living.
Well, thank you. It was an honor to serve. I come from family, both sides of the family, military background in the old country, so I thought I'd kind of continue on the torch a little bit.
Oh, that's
So
good.
it was a good time. I wish I'd retired, but the wife, yeah, at the time, she's like, I don't know if I can do any more of these deployments, and family comes first. So I got
Sure.
out. So, um, now you mentioned I don't want to jump too far ahead into Twisted Metal yet, but I mean, there's a bar fight scene there. I'll get your thoughts on then. One of the other projects that you were a part of was Red Dead Redemption 2, where you provided voice. How did you get attached to that project?
Well, actually, my agent, I was in construction. I was building houses for a company, and they knew I was an actor. So my agent texted me, said, "Hey, you got an audition. You need to do it." So I told my boss I was going to the truck, give me 15, 20 minutes. I did it on my phone, sent it to my agent. The next day, she said I got the gig, and I went to New Orleans a few days later and did all of my lines for Red Dead Redemption 2. I lucked into it. Let me just say that.
Yeah, those Rockstar games, right? I believe that's a Rockstar game, if I'm not
Yes. Yes.
yeah, they do really well. So that's fantastic. So you were a part of. a video game, and now you play a character based off a video game. And again, before we get into that, one of your credits here is, was it Mississippi River Sharks?
Correct.
That sound right? Now, did you ever cross paths with Taj Vance, who was also in Twisted Metal?
Yes. We
So,
have
what?
we have met in, down in New Orleans once or twice.
And so, did, so did you guys? Oh, okay, once or twice. So, was that for both the Shark and Twisted Metal, or completely
Completely
other
different.
projects?
It's just being at the time I was in Hattiesburg, which is 90 miles from New Orleans, and
Hmm,
that's where all of my classes and I knew all the actors and I was really big into the acting scene before I moved back to Alabama. And I moved back because I have a very old mother she's 95 now, fixing to be 96 next month.
good for
And
her.
I came back here, lives by herself, and came back here to be close to her to help her, and so forth. And but while I was down there, I've crossed paths with just about every actor, Billy Slaughter, all of us, is kind of crossed paths one time or another.
Yeah, it's a small community-ish, yeah, in that region, I bet. Yeah.
Yes,
So with Twisted Metal, how did that come about? Because that must have been what, 2022 probably?
it was. I was actually in California, and you kind of have to fib when you live in Alabama or in Mississippi to go to California. You got to be a local resident. And my manager is in California, right outside of Los Angeles. So I told him I was from Los Angeles. I went and did a show, and the director came up to me. He said, "Hey, Creek, I know you're from New Orleans or you're based out of New Orleans, and we got a new show coming out with Anthony Mackie, uh, Twisted Metal. You're going to be in the show." And I'm going, "Really now?" So, that was kind of a big boost, me being in California, in Los Angeles, and uh, Eric Andre show, if you know who Eric Andre is. So
Yeah.
I was doing his show. And like I said, the director came up to me and I ended up uh, auditioning for 9 different characters before I got Mr. Slam.
Wow. Was this you mentioned the director, is it Katao? Was that which director was this?
I cannot remember his name now. And
Okay.
I'm telling you, and the reason I cannot remember it, for the last 6 weeks, I have a construction company, which I do all the work myself.
Wow.
And so I have been working my tail off 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. You just caught me for the first time that I went out to dinner and I saw the message, and I was coming home because I'm going to be at work at 6:30 in the morning. I got 2 days to finish up a big project. So
Wow.
with that being said, my mind is kind of frizzled right now.
No, I appreciate you fitting me into your busy schedule. I see you have like 5 projects coming out here. That's whether pre or post production. So you are a busy man.
Yes, I try to
So
be.
we won't get into some of the other characters you auditioned for. But with Mr. Slam, what do you remember about the audition? Like the lines, did you do the self-tape?
Yes, everything was word for word on the audition to what, when I went on set. And so, yeah, I had to do the slam and, this and, where I'm acting like I'm slamming the watermelon.
Hmm.
And then when I got to set, the wardrobe lady brings me out a pair of gym shorts with a massive, what, inside sewed
Yes.
up. I'm
Uh-huh.
not going to say the word. I don't know if it's correct or not. But, anyways, I had to wear that thing for 2 days and was rubbed raw. It went down to my knees. So, and it was that big around. And so, that was, if everybody always asked me, what's my favorite gig? Twisted Metal is.
Yeah.
Anthony, Stephanie, Beatrice, they were excellent to work with.
Yeah. I've seen I've interviewed Stacey Perry who did the made the molds of the penises, and I think she made like five of them. So I've seen what they look like. They look large, like you said. Um And so you get fitted. I guess you're kind of wearing like a vest, so it's not like a whole like b bunch of stuff. But was it challenging to put that on? Like how much preparation did you guys have to do for your sequences?
Well, it was just a matter of taking my shirt off, putting the vest on, which I weighed about maybe 15 or 20 pounds more then when I shot it. So you saw my big old belly, and which I had the big beard, which at the time I was actually shooting uh Disney's The Haunted Mansion. I played the Mariner Ghost in it. So I had the big beard, and it just went. I reckon I can say everything was very natural on that set from the time I walked in till the time I wrapped.
And how many days do you recall of
Two
filming that?
days. Two
2 days.
days.
So with the with your past experience being in the bar fight, what was that like to kind of be a part of that or actually witness one on set?
Well, I'm gonna go behind the scenes. So we're rehearsing, and the director came up and whispered in my ear. He goes, "When you say slam, say it loud." So Anthony is, they're talking back and forth across the little dance floor. Uh, so when it came time for me to say slam, I have to act like I'm slamming the watermelon, and I go slam real loud. Well, he had his profile. He turned around, all you could see the white of his eyes, and he goes, "Damn, that scared the piss out of me. Do that again." When we filmed. So uh that was, kind of behind the scenes, what went on with him and everything else. They didn't show it, but I have to kind of creep and be scared and creep through the crowd to get from where I slammed the watermelon on the stage to behind the bar. And that's when you see the last one when uh Stephanie goes, "Hey, Slam, good job." And I look up and behind over the bar and go give the thumbs up. But they cut that part where I was sneaking through the crowd as they were fighting and everything.
Now, when you got cast for the role of Mr. Slam, were you given any sort of backstory? Did you come up with any backstory for yourself for this bartender at the Nut House?
Well, I came up with a backstory myself. I didn't get a backstory. I'm not a gamer. Okay. I've video games I played in the 80s, and that was Miss Pac-Man, and uh I forgot whatever the other one was where they shot the
Pong or
but
Galaga?
Galaga, that's it. Galaga. Those were my video games. So I'm not a gamer. Never have been. So uh I did some research on Twisted Metal and saw what, you know, Mr. Slam was, being the bulldozer, that's going around wreaking havoc. So that's where I kind of come up with it and played it in my mind how I would do it. Now, with me, the bar scene, bar fight, I would have, been in the middle of it fighting and everything, but I had to act scared, and that was like a little 180 for me because I'm not really scared of anything.
Yeah,
I had to
you
play
wanted a piece of
passive
that.
a little bit.
Yeah. Um, so if you can share the first day on set, the run-throughs, the lines, was you said that the audition, the lines were pretty much what was on paper. Did you guys do any other improvisation, just to see if there's anything else?
Not really. It was more word for word. And like I said, most of my lines where you see me behind the bar and I'm talking to Stephanie, her character, uh, we rehearsed it. She was very sweet, very professional. We sat there for about 10 or 15 minutes going over our lines, getting it right. We rehearsed it, and then we shot it, I think maybe 2 or 3 takes.
Oh, that's not bad. What about her spit take? Was that a one shot? How many times did she have to do that?
I think that was a one shot deal.
Not bad. That's pretty good. It almost like it just seems very organic and natural that maybe yeah, in my mind I was like I wonder if that's a line that she wasn't privy to, and then when you said it she spat that out, so
I think that was more, I think that was improvised, if you want to know the truth about it.
oh, her spitting out the reacting. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it works. It works for that scene.
Absolutely.
Now we do see in the background when we kind of focus in on the conversation between Bloody Mary, Quiet, and John. We do see Mr. Slam in the background. What were the directions for you guys in the background? Because I believe Pizza Boy is also at the bar talking to him.
Well, I was just supposed to be working the bar. It was my bar, the nut house. I'm behind it, mixing drinks, wiping down, glasses, whatever, just staying busy until, it was our scene to when they said action for us.
Now, when the show came out, it was, amid the writers and actors strike. What was that like for you when that show dropped? You're saying that this is your favorite thing to be a part of, and now you're not able to promote it due to union rules.
Well, that kind of sucked because I also had the Haunted Mansion come out at the
Mm.
same time. Well, there's about 2 or 3 weeks. Haunted Mansion came out first, and I was supposed to be a part of, all the promotions on it, and then Twisted Metal. To me, that was my biggest. I don't know. It's not a regret. I reckon my biggest disappointment because I did not get to promote anything, or we couldn't even say anything on Facebook, Instagram, or social media. That we were a part of anything. So
Mm.
I think it was a disappointment for all of us.
And when you guys were, when SAG-AFTRA and when they all, reached, an agreement, what was that like to finally, but by then the show's already out, family members, friends know. What were their receptions like to your sequences?
well, well, Mr. Slam, let me go back. All right. I told you I have a construction company. I'm going to give you a prime example. I walk into Sherwin-Williams paint store, and so I go in, and this dude young guy behind the counter, his eyes got big, and I'm thinking, what the hell? And he goes, "You're Mr. Slam." And I'm going, "Yeah." So anyways, I was opening up an account with them. And so instead of being Creek Wilson LLC, my business name, it's Mr. Slam for Sherwin Williams. So I wonder what when they generate the bills to me every month, they're going, who the hell is Mr. Slam? But he did it, and that's what I signed every time. It's Mr. Slam.
You should get a signature watermelon color, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'll bring that up to him next time I'm in there.
Yeah, yeah, it would be yeah, that'd be really awesome to kind of slap your face on it, it's a whole thing. Uh, Now I mentioned the friends and family. Now you've been making appearances at some of these Comic Cons, horror cons, and what have you. What has what have the fans' receptions been like?
Well, had a 16-year-old kid come in with mom and dad and had a big watermelon, wanted me to sign it. And I mean, a real watermelon. And he brought it in, and I couldn't believe mom and dad. let their 16-year-old son watch Twisted Metal, but he said Mr. Slam was his favorite character. So got pictures and I signed the watermelon. It's been great. I really get known at the Comic Cons for Mr. Slam and Red Dead Redemption 2 more than anything.
Hmm. What is it there a prop that you have that you also sign now because of Twisted Metal? Billy had mentioned that you advised them to start getting ears,
All
that he
right.
can sign.
Can you hang on for 5 seconds?
Absolutely.
Hold
Yes,
on.
sir. Yes, sir.
I have, if you can read it, it says Twisted Metal, Mr. Slam. So it's a
Fantastic.
squeeze ball. So I had it designed as a watermelon. So I sell these at the Comic Cons.
Oh, that's amazing. And then you sign it as well.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a I think he mentioned watermelon and I was thinking that's a perfect size that you can just carry around as well too. So I was like, yeah, I kind of wondered what it looked like. Do you have any do you has there been a really interesting fan interaction that you're willing to share that was just I don't know if you want to call it like just kind of wild, crazy. I don't know if there's a story that somebody shared with you that really resonated with you or that you know meant a lot or just kind of
Well,
yeah, I'm just hoping for fan interactions really.
well, it happened in the same Comic Con. It was in South Georgia, and this was last year. And this happened within like 30 or 40 minutes from each other. But I had a young lady come in and she had MS. So she was, on a walker. And she was
Hmm.
in her 30s. She was a teacher. And come to find out, she had drove uh about 3 hours just to meet me. She was a big Disney fan and Haunted Mansion, and she came to see me. So, hearing her story brought tears to my eyes, if you want to be honest about that. And then about 30 minutes later, this, I reckon, 17 or 18-year-old boy, and he was with his mom and daddy. And they came up and, dad was kind of nudging him, to come up to the table and talk to me. And he just, you know, he just had a different look about him. And come to find out, he was autistic. And I did not know this. So I go, "Hey, boy, come here and talk to me." And he came right up there and talked to me. And his favorite character, what he came to see me, was Mr. Slam. So, I have to, I put on this real gruff, and throw my voice deep and everything else. And so dad came up behind him and I looked up at his dad, and his dad had tears in his eyes. He goes, he don't talk to people. He, I don't know, you just said, "Come on up here." And he came right up on us, started talking about Mr. Slam and Twisted Metal. He had played the video game. He had actually played Red Dead Redemption 2, spends most of his time playing video games. But Mr. Slam was his favorite character. And he just sat there and started chit chatting with me like normal. And dad was
Amazing.
over there just crying. So things like that, it's not wild and crazy, but it's very touching. And I'll be honest, I'm just you got Tom Cruise, the A-list actors. I'm way down on the totem pole. But just to know that some people out there know who I am and I have brought something to touch their heart, that's what means more to me than anything.
You bring a lot of people joy, with the Mr. Slam. He seems just like a really cool dude. He's taking care of Quiet. He's giving her the bar of soap and deodorant. Tell her to clean her, crooks and nannies or crook and nanny. I think
Crookedad.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. And so I think he means well. In the show, he seems like he's trying to stay out of trouble, but also take care of people. And yeah, I mean, who doesn't? I don't know anybody that hates watermelons, you know? It's
True.
and so yeah, I think it's just you saw the little discussion that we had on Instagram that we're like, oh, we would love to see him in season two. It's just yeah, just a really, really nice guy, and not anything that you. It's definitely different from the video games, but you really brought something to him, and yeah, I think there's a lot of people that would love to see Mr. Slam back.
Well, and I want to say thank you for throwing me out as much as y'all did about Mr. Slam. That meant a lot to me. Really did.
Yeah. Again, thank you for coming on here to share your stories. Now, those were the fan interactions, and I think a lot of us know how social media can get. Have you had any kind of wild DMs from people? Anything you're willing to share? I mean, Twisted Metal is a TVMA, so you don't have to censor yourself here. But I've heard some stories. But yeah, I'm interested to hear just because of what Mr. Slam does.
Well, I'll be honest with you, over the last 2 or 3 years, I've kind of turned off all of my notifications on the DMs. And honest to God, I don't know why I was sitting in the restaurant when I don't know why I looked and I just happened, yeah, I was just, well, heck, I'll just check and see what's going on. I mean, I hadn't had a chance to in several weeks. And then I saw, your message to me, and it was by chance that I even
Yeah,
went on. But a lot of it, yeah, there's some crazy people in this world.
yeah,
So I've gotten some crazy DMs from male and females. So,
sure, sure.
so,
Yeah,
I've had them ask me if that was my real penis. And I have to say no. But I didn't really, I got to where I just didn't have time to go through everything. So I kind
right.
of all the net notifications, and I'll check them every once in a while. And people who know me know to either call me or text me. And,
Yeah,
you know, that's the way that goes.
yeah, yeah. I can only imagine some of the requests that people might be asking.
I've
Um,
asked
eh,
them,
eh,
I've had them ask me to show them. And I'm going, look, is movie magic costs, or ma'am, whatever, movie magic. That's all it is.
yeah. As we get ready to wrap up, you have done so much, and your daughter convinced you to get back in the saddle of acting at a much, later age than most would start. What advice would you could you give to anybody that has thought about it, but put it on the back burner and feel that, their prime has already passed?
Well, your time has never passed. I mean, I'm 63 years old now, and I started acting at 50 years old. And that, when I say that, that was when I did a couple of background jobs just to see like what it was like on the set. Started taking acting lessons, and I took from everyone I've taken, all of my mentors and acting coaches have been acting for 35, 40 years. They've all got at least 200 to 300 credits, and I'm talking about good character actors. They know what they're doing. uh Nobody has told me that I couldn't do it except my mama. And she's 95. She come from the old school, but when I showed her my first paycheck, she goes, "Well, damn, you're an actor." And I'm going, "Yep, that's what I'm trying to tell you." So uh I have been very, very blessed. I mean, the good Lord's looked down on me uh to be where I'm at right now, and starting at a relatively late in life. But I tell everybody, don't give up your dreams. Go for it.
Now, has your mom seen Twisted Metal? At least your episode?
Oh, yes, she has.
Well, what did you think about it?
Ah, she she liked it better than my role as a bartender on Preacher. She
Preacher, yeah.
actually saw it, and that's where I had to kiss a 200-year-old vampire dude on the
Yeah.
lips, 17 takes. And
Wow.
so she watched that actually. And when I walked in the door, the when I had seen her in I don't know, a couple of weeks, I'd been filming a lot of different things. And she goes, son, just promise me one thing. You won't ever kiss another guy on TV. So we come from a small town, and she got a lot of phone calls about that. But she did see Twisted Metal.
Well, I'm glad she enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I am
So,
too.
yeah, yeah, all ages there. And if you can, is there anything that you can promote that people can keep an eye out for if they want to see more of your work?
Well, I have, like I said, the Haunted Mansion, Disney's Haunted Mansion that came out same time, 2022 with Twisted Metal. Uh, there's We Have a Ghost. It's on Netflix. A lot of my stuff is on Amazon or Netflix. You know, you can really Google me and figure it out. I've had a movie come out with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Jack Quaid a couple of months ago called Neighborhood Watch, which is everybody loves the movie, and it was filmed in Birmingham at the time. Had Gunner, which was with Morgan Freeman, and I got to work with all of these guys, and they have treated me with utmost respect. I mean, it's just unbelievable, all the people that I've got to meet and work with over the years. So, just Google Creek Wilson, and hopefully you'll like what you see.